Hello, and thank you for listening to the Deepdale Podcast. I'm Jason, and it's June 2023. Summer is in theory here, and the season is ramping up. This month we are concentrating on the wild, because Wildlife Trust's campaign 30 Days Wild, so thinking of ways that we can all engage with wildlife, countryside and coastline that we so often take for granted. First up, I chat with Bob Morgan from the Norfolk Wildlife Trust, chatting about 30 Days Wild and some of the charities' reserves in Norfolk. Ollie joins us from One Stop Nature to give us a wildlife update. And lastly, Lisa joins me for a quick look at upcoming events in the local area, including Open Farm Sunday at Deepdale Farm on the 11th of June. Thanks again for joining us. Enjoy the listen. Please do let others know about this podcast. And if you have the time, please do leave us a review on your preferred podcast provider. Any suggestions or feedback, please drop us an email at podcast@deepdalecamping.co.uk. We've posted a whole range of 30 Days Wild ideas on our social media, and you can search online for hashtag 30 Days Wild to see posts from the Norfolk Wildlife Trust and so many others.
Skies all open wide, geese go high and over. Oh, now you're a beachcomber, fistful of sandfire, sea, lavender, see you next year.
I am chatting with Bob from the Norfolk Wildlife Trust, and we just thought we'd chat about a fantastic kind of initiative, Bob will explain a bit more, called 30 Days Wild, which is really kind of highlighting the amazing wildlife of Norfolk for those 30 days. And is it a national thing with all the wildlife trusts? Is that the idea, Bob?
Yes, it's been running for maybe nearly a decade now, run by the umbrella organisation of the Wildlife Trust, so across all the counties of the United Kingdom. And it was particularly successful during lockdown, as you can imagine, encouraging people to get out and to sort of involve themselves in the natural world. And it starts in June, and we ask people to do something wild. They call it random acts of wildness each day in June. And it could be something large or small. I mean, maybe visit a nature reserve with your family, but even just maybe stop at your front door before you go in and look up at the stars and just marvel at them for a moment. Watch the clouds sail by. So it could be something big or small. You might decide across June you're going to learn birdsong, or start identifying wildflowers that you see and the lay-by as you walk by. So it could be big or small. You can interact with the Wildlife Trust through social media. So if you take photographs, you can post your photographs. We're just about getting back in touch with the natural world.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think there's a hashtag 30 Days Wild, which I know a lot of people are putting stuff out on. So as a wildlife trust, do you guys produce sort of to-do guides and sort of suggested things to get out there? So you've made a lot of suggestions already, but is there sort of things specifically to look out for in the wild that people should be looking for at this time of year?
Yes, I mean, well, firstly, you can, if you follow the links on the Norfolk Wildlife Trust website, 30 Days Wild, you'll receive an information pack. You'll get lots of different ideas. Also, you get a small free pack of wild flower seeds as well. But we give you lots of different ideas that you can do. And of course, the benefits from it. It's just, I mean, you can get this time of year. June is a brilliant time of year. It's the best month to choose. Everything's still green and lush. Many of the butterflies are starting to emerge. Birds are still singing. Of course, they're really active nesting as well. So whether you go into the woods, out onto the fens, along the coast, there's lots to see, lots to discover. And when you start looking, when you look up and down and it's amazing the things that you discover. And even stop to look at wildflowers, because it's not just about the wildflower, it's about the insects that may be on it, that are looking for these sort of nectar-rich wildflowers. It's amazing what you find when you start to look.
Yeah.
And of course, the health benefits. One, you're getting out and you're exercising. And two, just it's proven. I mean, those of us that work in the sort of outside know that the healing qualities of nature. But studies have shown that if you connect with nature, there's lots and lots of benefits to our health and well-being, and particularly for children.
Yeah.
Children, it teaches them to show empathy, teaches them empathy. It raises their self-awareness, and also climbing trees and paddling in streams. It teaches children to take reasonable risks, and these all are part of being good mental health and good well-being. Yeah. So it's a great thing to do. It's a great way to introduce all the family back to nature.
What a fantastic idea. So if they head to the Norfolk Wildlife Trust website, they'll follow the links to 30 Days Wild, and then they can order a pack, and that'll give them some. I know we're already into June, but the great thing about this is it's 30 days of encouraging people to hopefully do stuff that sticks with them all the way through the winter, all the way through the summer. So it's a year-round event, isn't it? Which is fantastic. Yeah. And but it's just a really good way. Yeah, and I think for us, particularly the North Norfolk coast is just stunning in June. It's a brilliant time to come. There isn't the crowds, all of the reserves, like your place at both Holme and at Cley. Fantastic amount of wildlife there. You've got, as you say, you've got the lush greenness, you've got the amazing wildflowers, you've got incredible wildlife to look at, and it's a fantastic time to come and explore the beautiful North Norfolk coast all the way through June. And then, of course, the crowds begin to rise during July and August, but it's still, you can still find peaceful, calm places to escape. And, places like Cley are perfect for that, aren't they?
Oh, they are, yes. I mean, and those big, wonderful open skies as well that we enjoy in Norfolk. And also, why not get up early? Get up one morning if you're on holiday. If you rise at 4 o'clock in the morning and go for a walk, it's amazing what you see. And that just sense of sort of isolation is also quite comforting sometimes. It's nice to be on your own, or just sort of walking with your partner on the beach. And again, what we're asking in 30 Days Wild, if you haven't walked barefoot in the sea for a long time, why not do that? Or just across a dew-soaked lawn or through a meadow. Many of us sort of, certainly when you get to my age, our whole childhood was spent outside in nature. We didn't even know we were doing these things. We were doing 30 Days Wild, 365 days of the year.
Yeah.
And of course, it's difficult for young people, particularly in this day and age. And it's an in for them to experience the outdoors in its all its beauty.
Yeah, and it's all interconnected, isn't it? And I think that the mental health thing, the learning about yourself, learning about what's around you, and looking, and it's amazing. I always find it fascinating that people cross the road from Deepdale, they walk onto the salt marshes there or onto the sea wall, and they sort of look at it and they think, oh, it's just grey. But actually, you stand there for just a few minutes and you begin to look, and you notice, this bird here and that. Insect there, and it just sort of grows, and you realize what a vibrant, loud, noisy place it is. And I think one of the biggest comments from people who come from the city are they come and stay with us and they realize just how loud the dawn chorus is. So getting up early and going and hearing that in its full glory is absolutely worth every moment. You can always have a snooze later if you're on holiday.
That's right. And who can't be moved? The call of the redshank over the salt marshes. That, for me, that summer on the North Norfolk coast is hearing the redshanks call, or the curlew skylark, just stop a moment and listen to a skylark singing. It's beautiful. It's and it's uplifting.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, it is really beautiful. So in terms of the two reserves, how accessible are they to people? If you're members of the Norfolk Wildlife Trust, you'll kind of know, you'll have car passes and stuff. How accessible are they to people who are just sort of beginning to explore their natural world and kind of thinking about whether they should join something like the Norfolk Wildlife Trust? Can they just turn up and park and visit without having to join? They can just pay for car parking or something?
They can, yes. At both Clyde and Holme, as you know, certain months of the summer it can get very busy, so there is a small charge. All of the money we take from visitors goes back into wildlife conservation. So we're a charity organisation. We have 50 nature reserves across the county, some world famous ones. Clyde, of course, on the Norfolk coast, was the first time that someone had this, which was revolutionary, had this idea: how about we protect this land for wildlife, for birds? And that was done in Norfolk for the first time at Clyde. Yeah. Back in the 1920s, a group of like-minded people got together and purchased the land and became the Norfolk Naturalist Trust. And then, of course, we have them across every county in the country now, but it started on the North Norfolk coast. People back then were realising we're losing things here. It's about time we did something about saving it for the future. So Clyde, we welcome visitors at Clyde and at Holme all year round. It would be nice if people join Norfolk Wildlife Trust. If you're returning to the county on holiday each year or every other year, it's worth being a member. And even if you don't go out onto the reserves, it's nice to know that there's someone there protecting them and protecting our landscapes. And so every penny we get goes back into wildlife conservation.
And like some of the larger charities, can you join like a kind of national one and then get access to the local ones?
Yeah, you can join Norfolk Wildlife Trust, and most of the wildlife trusts interact with one another, and you can visit reserves elsewhere in the country.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And so there's visitor centre all over the country for the Wildlife Trust. I mean, obviously, each county does remain independent because it gives you, of course, there's wildlife charities like the RSPB and the National Trust that are national. The Wildlife Trusts have chosen to focus on local counties. So that's what we do. We focus just on Norfolk. And we've been doing it for, well, it will be our 100th anniversary in a couple of 3 years' time. It'll be our 100th anniversary. So we're the oldest wildlife trust. As I say, it all started up on the North Norfolk coast at Clyde. And it's still a wonderful place to visit, Clyde. It's a mecca for bird watchers. Any bird watcher worth their salt has been to Clyde at some point, and there's lots to see. Someone said to me, who travels abroad an awful lot and had never been to North Norfolk, and was stunned. And they went to Clyde and they said it was like being in the Camargue in the south of France. And it is. In the height of summer, we have spoonbill and glossy ibis and heron, egret, great and little egret. And as you say, the noise as well is sort of swallows coming in and out of the hides that nest in the hide. It's a wonderful place to be, yes.
Fantastic. Yeah, I was on the beach the other day recording the waves sort of rolling over the shingle. It's just something very, very, very special about that. It's a wonderful place. You can lose yourself in the sort of mesmerized by that sound. It's just fantastic. Bit parky where the wind was blowing in. So, but it was still very, very beautiful. So, yeah, lovely. Well, thank you so much, Bob. Thank you for talking to us. Anybody who is looking for more information about 30 Days Wild, please just stick into any search engine 30 Days Wild or jump onto the Norfolk Wildlife Trust website and you'll find all the information you need. And it's all sort of hints and tips. But as Bob says, It's really about just stopping and looking. Step out of your front door, step out of your hotel or your holiday cottage or wherever you're staying when you're on holiday, and just look and listen and see what's around you. You'll begin to notice things that you've walked past every day. So yeah, fantastic. A really great idea. And thank you so much for telling us about it, Bob.
No problem at all. Thank you very much.
Hi everybody, welcome to the late spring, early summer edition of the nature section of this podcast. My name is Ollie, I run the one-stop nature shop at Dalegate Market. Late spring, early summer is an interesting time of year, as it always is on the Norfolk coast. We're now starting to see the migration of birds slow down as they reach their breeding territories both here and further in northern Europe. One thing, or a couple of things to listen out for in the reed beds at this time of year is the very intricate songs of both sedge warbler and reed warbler. They are very much in situ now. Not quite singing just as much as you would expect yet, because the temperature has been quite cool, and they do prefer to sing when it's very still and very warm, rather than very warm. Also worth keeping an eye out for the increasing population of spoonbills. On the coast, they are back here breeding again, as are great white egret, so do keep an eye out for those. There's also been some good bittern activity around the coast in recent weeks, so again, something else to keep an eye out for. In terms of other wildlife news, these cooler temperatures that we're experiencing is keeping things like butterflies and dragonflies populations quite low. We'll sort of see an explosion of those once the weather warms up a little bit, but the cooler weather does mean that certain areas are staying a little bit wetter than usual, which is obviously good for wildlife because they're not drying out too quickly. If you are passing Dalegate Market and want to pop into the shop, you can find us next to Relish at the end of the front row of shops, and we've always got the up-to-date bird information and plenty of optics, microscopes, trail cameras to try and have a look at, and also a number of books and various different types and titles and genres to have a look at as well. And if you're passing, we always have the latest bird news available for you to gin up on as well, and if you have any questions or you see anything interesting, we'd love to hear about it. So that's everything for now. As I say, if you're passing, do pop in and we'll be sure to help you out with anything you might need. That's it for now, and I'll speak to you again very shortly. Bye-bye.
So Lisa has joined me, as promised, to chat about some of the events that are going on locally. And we are sitting in our lovely courtyard here at the stables at Deepdale.
Hugging
drinking
cups of tea.
Yeah, exactly. Drinking hot drinks because it's not quite as warm as it should be in mid-June. But anyway, never mind.
It's
We're
dry.
Yeah,
You know.
it's dry and it's trying to be bright.
Absolutely. It's trying its hardest.
But it's
just not there.
just not quite the way we'd like
I
it.
have faith, though. It will come out. We will be blessed with gorgeous sunshine at some point.
Fingers crossed. So you're going to hear us slurping tea because it's the only way that we can stop from shivering. So it's either shivering or slurping tea, and we've decided slurping tea. So there we go. And we've got a list of kind of lots of events that are on. So we're going to have a look through, and we've written lots of notes, and we're going to sort of just talk about a few. We're not going to bore you for hours. We're just going to talk about some of our favourite events that are happening. As you know, June is 30 Days Wild. You've heard the guys from both Norfolk Wildlife Trust and One Stop Nature talking about local wildlife. But I'm not sure whether it's been planned or whether it's sort of just luckily happened. But a load of events in the diary, particularly art exhibitions and that sort of stuff, seem to be kind of wildlife and nature connected, don't they?
Yeah, the universe has come together nicely.
That's a nice way of putting it. I like that. That's great. And so we thought we will start at the top of the list, which is a logical place. So you can probably hear our lovely, friendly swallows.
So they've just started chattering as well at us.
Just sitting there looking at us like, where's Mummy gone? Why has she not delivered more food?
They're saying their bit for us, aren't they?
Hello. Chattering away. That's fantastic. Very nice to speak to you too. You're on the podcast. Did you know that?
Yay.
Yeah, excellent. So, I don't know if any of you have ever been to Houghton for one of their big art exhibitions, but it's pretty awe-inspiring as a place to go. And you were saying, Lisa, you haven't been.
No,
have
it's
you?
I don't go past the sign for it, and I've never actually been.
Well,
Terribly.
you must go.
Yeah.
Everybody's listening must go. It's a really fascinating space. The hall itself is, I'm sure I'm going to get shot down for this. It's just another big hall with lots of old furniture in it. And I'm sure people will be spitting into their tea and absolutely outraged by that. But it is, we've got we are blessed with an overwhelming number of large estates with lots of houses, with lots of old stuff in them. But Houghton have done something a bit different. So they've taken beautiful grounds and added incredible sculpture. So some of the sculpture is permanent.
Oh.
So there's a sort of a slate sort of, I can't remember exactly what they call it, but it looks like a sort of moon, and they've sort of, it's made of slate. There is an amazing sort of sky observation room where you sit in and you stare up at the sky and you can see the clouds going past.
Oh my
and
God.
It's really beautiful. And then just the architecture of the building's quite cool. And then sitting there just watching the sky just really focuses you. And there's lots of other really interesting sculptures, and they've done really big exhibitions like Henry Moore and things like that. And this time it's a guy called Sean Scully who has got these interesting sort of glass and other sculptures around the site. And the idea is this sort of oversized sculpture in a big landscape, which is really quite exciting. So, and you get to walk, amazing walks around the hall and stuff. And there's actually, weirdly, my next door neighbour has an exhibition of local artisans in the stables buildings, which you sort of pass through as you go up to the hall to see the stuff. So it's really worth seeing. Really
Are they open all week? Or are they open certain days?
They have a slightly random opening times when the hall hasn't got something on.
Right.
And when it has got something on, it's ticketed. So you kind of need to look up and see what the availability and that sort of stuff. But it's definitely worth doing. And that's Houghton Hall, which is sort of off to the west, sort of nearer King's Lynn. And it's definitely worth going to. And that the Sean Scully exhibition is on right through the summer, right into October. So they're big pieces. Go see it. Really worth doing. It's a fact. I love the juxtaposition of sculpture in countryside and stuff. I think it just works really well.
So amazing! Sounds cool.
So there you go.
Definitely will go.
So what have you noticed on the list?
So what else do we have? So Bircham Gallery at Holt. So they've got some cool stuff going on there with Barbara Pearson and Russell Wilson. Got some paintings and ceramic animals. And some of the bits they're exhibiting there. So that looks quite fun as well.
That's nicely sort of 30 Days Wild, sort of interconnected, isn't it, as well?
Yeah.
And then the Norfolk Wildlife Trust have got a whole series of events called Cly Calling, which include all sorts of things like hidden treasures of Norfolk's secret sea. So there's talks, there's workshops, there's readings, there's live music, there's all sorts of stuff. And they kind of go through all through the year, and they're getting very good at adding those events to our website, so you can see all of those different events. But there's definitely, sorry, that's somebody having a fight with our barn door, which doesn't always close as well as it should do. Apologies for that. But yeah, take a look on our website. If any of these events are listed on deepdalecamping.co.uk/events, or just go to deepdalecamping.co.uk and click on events at the top. And there's loads of events. People like Norfolk Wildlife Trust, Houghton, the local pubs, restaurants, all that sort of stuff, all add events to us, and you can see a whole lot of stuff there. And I'm working on categorizing all of these events as well, so you'll be able to just click on exhibitions or just on concerts or whatever else, and you'll see all those different bits and pieces.
We have so much amazing wildlife in Norfolk, don't we? I think sometimes we just kind of take it for granted a little bit, don't we? So it's nice to kind of shine a bit more of a spotlight on it and just, I
have to say that's why I like the 30 Days Wild, because it's getting you to stop and look at the stuff that you see. And you guys are really good at noticing stuff on the campsite, so you supply me lots of lovely photos, which I've shared many of them on social media with everybody else. But I think it's noticing all of those little things that we drive past them every day, don't we? And it's a bit like you
Absolutely.
driving past the sign for Houghton
Yeah,
every time and
completely.
never
Yeah,
quite
and never
getting.
actually going in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely,
So it's
Yeah.
it's interesting how they're these things kind of, you see them and you don't necessarily take notice of them. So it's and what anything else that sort of leapt out at you? You know, you getting excited about the extra street food that we've got coming.
Oh my gosh, yes! I can't wait to try some of that. We've got the curry van, haven't we? Is he coming?
Currylicious is joining us, on
Yeah.
a regular basis for over the
Fabulous,
summer. So
yeah.
that's going to be really good.
Always love the smell of our pizza van that comes.
Yeah.
It's always very tempting, and obviously with the pop-up nest now that we have, the pop-up cafe doing their waffles. Have you had all the different variations of waffles?
I have been on a diet and I've been trying not to. But it is like, it is hell on earth walking past then. And I did the gig the other when I was doing the Hygge.
Oh yeah.
And they were there kind of, wafting their cakes at me and stuff.
It's so tempting, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
My husband's really happy though now, because every Saturday I work, I always go home with a bag full of goodies, so he's quite excited about them now.
Excellent. That's really cool. And next door at Dalegate, the pop-up shops continue, so they're happening all the time. So that if you're sitting at the cafe at Dalegate, you'll kind of seen the pop-up shops out the back of the back next to the Hare and the Hen, and they have four different beach huts which are full of artisans, and they change every week. So if you take a look on our website, you'll see all sorts of different ones. So you've got people like David Boxes, New Leaf Woodcraft, Reefham artists and makers are coming.
It's a really nice way to support like local small businesses and stuff as well, and creative people, isn't it? The pop-up shops. It's really nice there,
yeah, and they're nice sort of micro businesses who are kind of like just beginning to find their markets, or they're a home producer who just produces a few select items. So it's really
great to be able to talk to the people that have made the stuff that you're about to buy or thinking of buying. It's really lovely. It's a good shopping experience.
And a lot of them do demonstrations as well, so they sort of explain what it is that they're making and how they're making it and all of that sort of stuff. So that works really well as well. There's everything from furniture to home decor to art to some jewelry and all sorts of stuff. So there's a real mixture of things, isn't there? Really, and we've got quite a few plant sales coming now. So it's a really nice mix, and they change on a Wednesday and run through till the following Tuesday. So all the way through the summer, they'll be different. I think so. If you're here for a few nights, you probably see two different sets of artisans, which works really well. And then, our music program at the moment is quiet over the summer season, partly because lots of other people put music on, and so we let them think. So the Jolly and Ale and Music Festival is happening this weekend. So if you're listening to this, it's probably too late to get booked into that. But they have their regular Nelson Shantymen rehearsals, don't they? Every Monday. So you can go in here, and they're trying out new songs and all sorts of stuff. They stand in the back room or in the garden, and they think so. You get to eat nice food and drink good beer and listen to some Shantymen for free, which is really cool. And then, of course, our next big event is the Deepdale Festival. There's still a few non-electric pitches, so non-hookup pitches available for the festival, although they are disappearing rapidly, aren't they?
They are. There's not that many left, no.
No. But there are day tickets. So if you are living or staying locally and you want to come along, you can either buy individual days or you can buy the whole festival tickets, which get you in to see various different amazing bands. Chris has put an incredible list together, and you should definitely listen back to last month's podcast, because Chris waxes lyrical about some of the acts that he's put. He promised me that was almost the final list, but he's added a load more since. So
he can't help himself,
he hears a band and he gets very excited.
Absolutely.
So it's very good. Very good. And are you enjoying the madness of the season?
I am. So this is now coming up for my second season, so I feel a bit more prepared.
Have a bit more idea of what's going on.
A little bit more of an idea, but no, I can't believe I've been here over a year already, and we're coming around to season 2. But no, it's good. It's really good.
Time flashes by.
It really does. Goes so quickly.
It'll be the festival before we know it.
I know.
But we mustn't wish the summer
No,
away.
absolutely.
So,
No,
yes.
we've got a long, lovely summer ahead of us, I reckon. So yeah, it'll be good fun all around.
Very cool. Yes, it'll be very cool. Well, I'm escaping for a bit of the summer. I'm going to Edinburgh with my daughter, who's performing at the Edinburgh Festival.
Oh
so
yeah, you said she's got her.
that's quite exciting.
Yeah,
So if
that's
anybody
amazing.
isn't in Norfolk but is in Edinburgh for the festival, then come and see my daughter's show with attendance. And they're going to be performing at the Space on the Mile, and they're doing a self-penned, very funny comedy play, like 20 minutes long, and it's very silly, very rude, and very funny.
Oh, that sounds
very
brilliant.
cool.
Oh, I bet you can't wait.
You're really it's going to be a really interesting experience, I think. Having run festivals ourselves for years and we welcome the Pantaloons, and they're coming in July. They've got 2 shows here in July, the 13th and the 27th of July. It's been fun kind of welcoming them and the artists, but to actually have Ava going and performing, it's going to be really weird. In somebody else's venue, and all that stuff. So yeah, it's going to be a strange experience, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Have you been up to the Edinburgh Fringe before?
Yes, but not for a long time.
Yeah.
I think it's grown exponentially since I was there last. So but of course that's not an advert not to come to Norfolk during the summer. But as we all know, August can be quite busy in it. So if you're not coming to Norfolk this summer, go to Edinburgh instead and see attendance.
And if you are in Edinburgh and you want to escape, come to Norfolk.
Yes, exactly. Perfect arrangement. Yeah, perfect arrangement. So yeah, and I think I've got lots of family and friends in Edinburgh, and I think they're thinking. I think Edinburgh Festival is just a complete sort of whirlwind.
Yeah,
we have it for 4 days with our festival, don't we? But they have it. Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
So it's well. Thank you for joining me on the podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me again.
And we will talk to you again soon.
Yes.
It'll be the next month. I'll be here in no time at all. Yeah. In the meantime, I hope the rest of the season goes well.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And enjoy your second season.
I will do.
Cheers, Lisa. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. Hope you have a brilliant rest of the month. If you enjoyed this special 30 Days Wild episode of Deepdale Podcast, then you may enjoy other episodes in our back catalogue. Just search Deepdale Podcast in any good podcast app or directory. We definitely recommend last month's episode, April 2023, when Chris waxes lyrical about acts he's booked for Deepdale Festival 2023. And our December episodes are always worth a listen as we pick our top music albums of the year.
Skies all open wide, geese go high and over. Oh, now you're a beachcomber, a fistful of samphire sea, lavender. See you next year.